double the amount of wrap-up, double the amount of fun. Welcome or welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads! Sparkle, sparkle! Let's go! Yes, hello, and welcome or welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. I am, of course, Mr. Francy, and I'm truly honoured that you've chosen to join me once again today as we go through part 1 of my April 2025 monthly wrap. Now, let me explain. I read a ton of books this month, and there's just no way to justify everything that I want to get through with each book by putting all of the books into one video. It's going to be way too long. So, to make it easier for everyone, we're splitting them into 2. Alright, so we're going to start off, as per usual. Actually, we're going to start off by telling you about the tea that I have. Just a moment. Today's tea is brought to you by Celestial. It is the Cinnamon Apple Spice. This is the very first Celestial tea I ever tried, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I have multiple packs of this. If you love your apple and your cinnamon, oh my goodness. An absolute triumph. Oh my goodness. Both flavors are singing to me. The apple and the cinnamon is extremely autumnal. Extremely autumnal. Highly recommend. Now we're going to start off doing what I usually do at the start of my wraps. I'm going to put the stats up on the screen in 3, 2, 1, go. For the month of April, I read a total of 14 books. All of them were cozies, so the subgenres included 5 culinary cozies, 4 animal cozies, 2 resort B&B inn cozies, 2 paranormal cozies, and 1 decorating arts and crafts cozies. And also, we will do that in a moment. Okay, to my age ranges, and I read 14 cozy mysteries, so therefore all 14 were adult books. To my lengths, and I read 1 3/4 tome, 9 half tomes, 4 novellas, totaling 4,111 pages. And to my star ratings, very 4-star leaning, but I was very picky in the month of April. If there was just one thing I didn't like, I deducted a star. So it's still high quality, it just wasn't perfect, and needs to be perfect to get a 5-star from me. So, that in mind, I had 3 5 stars, 9 4 stars, and 2 3 stars. No 2 stars, no 1 star, so all of them were good, but 3 absolute standouts, and 9 that just had one thing that I wasn't a fan of, but everything else was still pretty solid. Alright, now, next what we need to do is I need to give a shout out to this book, Penne Dreadful, by Catherine Bruns. This is book number 1 in the An Italian Chef Cozy Mystery series. I planned to have this completed by the time we got to the end of the month, but I ran out of time. You guys, it's been a very, 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 very busy end of the month for me, and in the last 3 days, I probably read for 2 hours, and yeah, so I was way too busy, and I just couldn't get this one done. So I'm carrying this one over to May. It'll be the first book I read, and then I'll read what I already have planned for my May TBR. So this will feature in my May monthly wrap, as opposed to originally going to feature in this one, part 2, because it would be the last book I read. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay. Alright, putting that aside. Let's jump right on in. So, as I said, I read 14 books in the month of April, so therefore you're going to get the first 7 in this video, and you're going to get the second 7 in part 2. So, let's begin. So the first book that I read in the month of April 2025 was this book, Dead Cold Brew, by Cleo Coyle. Oh my goodness, the glare absolutely loves me. Anyway, this is a book number, was it 16. Book number 16 in the Coffee House Cozy Mystery series by Cleo Coyle. It is a culinary cozy mystery that explores coffee. So the main setup of this series is that we follow Claire Cosi, who runs a cafe with her ex-husband, Matteo. Claire makes the coffees. Matteo does all the outsourcing stuff. So he goes like overseas to collect the beans and things like that. And Claire also works alongside the owner of the company as a whole, the grande dame herself, Madame, who I love, and who would love to see Claire and her son get back together. But anyway, I just love Madame. So in this particular one, the premise is quite long, so stick with me because a lot happened. After everything Claire and her NYPD detective boyfriend have been through, they deserve a little bit of a happily ever after. But while Mike's marriage proposal to Claire is steeped in perfection, the celebration of their engagement is not long-lived. First, a grim-faced attorney interrupts their party with a mysterious letter, bequeathing a hidden treasure to Claire's daughter. Next, the world-famous jeweler who designed Claire's ring is found poisoned in his shop. Both events appear to be connected to a cold case murder involving a sunken ship, an Italian cruise, a charming jewel thief, and a shocking family secret. With deadly trouble brewing, Claire must track down clues in some of New York's most secret places before an old vendetta produces fresh corpses. So as I said, it's a very long premise, but that's because a lot happened in this one. It was a lot for me to wrap my head around. If you get to this one, you'll probably find the same thing. All those things, part of the mystery. So a lot in this one. So to my thoughts, and I'm not a fan of cold cases in my cozies because I like to be there from the jump. So if we are trying to solve a murder, I want to be there from minute one. We find the body, someone's just been killed, now we're trying to solve the murder, rather than, okay, this happened years and years and years ago, and now yeah, like I'm not invested as much because I wasn't there from day dot, if that makes sense. But there was something about this one that did intrigue me, however. I love following Claire throughout the series, and watching the growth of her character arc has been pure joy. I always want more Madame than any of the books give, but that's just me. Come on, Claire Cosi, Cleo Coyle. Come on, Cleo Coyle. We just need a book where Madame just takes over. She can become the main character, and then, solid 10-star out of 5 stars. I think all in all, it was a good entry in this amazing series that we call Coffee House, and I am looking forward to reading book number 17. It was going to be the first book that I picked up in May, but now, of course, with Pen A Dreadful being the first one, the second book I pick up will be book 18 in this series. But I gave this one 4 stars. The next book that I read in the month of April 2025 was book number 5. I just checked this. Book number 5, yes. Book number 5 in the Country Store Cozy Mystery Series by Maddie Day, called Death Over Easy. Slanting it that way seems to get rid of some of the glare. Or not. There you go. I'm trying, as you can see. Death Over Easy by Maddie Day. So, the setup for this series as a whole is that we follow Robbie Jordan. Woo, I remembered her name now. In my main TBR, I was like, what's her last name? It doesn't matter. But anyway, Robbie Jordan, who runs a country store in South Lick in Indiana, with her helpers Dana and Turner. So, yeah, really, really beautiful stuff. So part of her store is a country store where she has kitchen appliances that people can look at, and if they want to purchase, they can. The other part of her store is a diner. So that's good as well. So very culinary. And then in this book, upstairs where her apartment is, she's now opened a B&B. So let's get all this together, shall we? Country store, part diner, part B&B, all in one, makes Mr. Francy very, very happy. Add to that the fact that the narrator of the audiobook with this series makes the protagonist Robbie Jordan sound like she is in her late 80s, early 90s, and you have a blast of a series. Now, let's be fair. Robbie is not in her 80s or 90s, far from it. She's closer to 27, 28 by the time you get to book number 5. But the narrator makes her sound old, and I love my elderly characters in my cozies. So if you are new, forgive me. It's headcanon. In real life, she's 27, but in my head, she's an elderly woman, and I love her. So in this one, in this book, Robbie has, as I said, converted the upstairs into a B&B, and to top it all off, her birth father has come to stay at the B&B with a new woman, Maria. Following a bluegrass concert, we find out that one of the musicians has been murdered. What makes it interesting, however, is that Robbie's father and Maria both know the deceased victim's family. Now they, alongside everyone else staying at the B&B for their own reasons, are considered suspects. But Robbie knows there's more to the story, so she dons her sleuthing cap once again. Yeah, it just really was a lot of fun. So Robbie's father and his new woman in his life, Maria, come down from Italy because her father has gone over to Italy for some reason. And yeah, I guess he either is in a relationship or got married. I don't remember if she's a wife or a girlfriend, Maria, but either way, they're connected in a relationship somehow. And he's been over in Italy for many, 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 many years now. So it was very much a surprise when he came down to Robbie to see Robbie and stay at her B&B. But even more surprising was the fact that these two people from Italy are somehow connected because they know the deceased's family back home in Italy. Like, it was so intriguing to read. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. This series is extremely cozy to the umpteenth degree. So if you're looking for a really cozy type of cozy mystery series, I highly recommend this one. I gave it 4 stars for the same reason that I have been with all the other books. The problem that I have, and I love this series so much, but the problem that I have is that everything is cozy, really extremely cozy. Then we get the reveal, and the reveal is extremely gritty. And I don't mind a gritty reveal, but when you have such an extremely cozy book all the way through, and then you get to that 95-98% mark where you're getting the reveal and it becomes gritty, it throws off the entire tone for me. So unfortunately, that did have me docking a star, so I gave it 4 stars, but I still absolutely love the series, love Robbie as a character, and cannot wait to get on to the next one in the series. The next book that I read was book number 3 in a Magical Cats Cozy Mystery series by Sophie Kelly, which is called Copycat Killing, and there's no glare! Yay! You can see it nicely there. Isn't that lovely? Yay! So the premise setup of this series is that we are following Kathleen Paulson, who is a librarian, although don't take that too much to heart because predominantly we don't follow her at the library. The purpose of the cozy side of this series is not Kathleen Paulson's occupation, but rather her cats. As the series implies, it is a Magical Cats Cozy Mystery series, not a librarian series. So we have Owen here and Hercules. Owen is your average type of cat, loves going outside, loves hunting, all that kind of stuff. And Hercules is Miss Pretty Princess, who I love to death. I'm saying that as a compliment that she's Miss Pretty Princess. And I absolutely love her. I love them both so much. They do have magical abilities, as the series title suggests. I won't spoil what they are because that would be a spoiler, but I find this series to be so extremely cozy. If you love cats, you need to read this series, at least for where I'm up to at the moment. And under a different pen name, Sophie Kelly wrote the series Second Chance Cat, and I am going to be getting to that one as soon as I can. I have so many to get through. But anyway, so the premise of this one is, in this book, Kathleen falls down a mountain and her fall unearths a skull. Who is dead and why? A couple of days later, a rude artist is found dead in Kathleen's friend's basement. Are the deaths connected? The detectives don't want her to get involved, but Owen and Hercules have other ideas for Kathleen. And yep, I love them because it's like Kathleen really doesn't want to try and solve the mystery. As we know with a lot of protagonists, if you've read a lot of cozies, a lot of the protagonists in cozy mysteries, they want to solve the mystery, but in this case Kathleen doesn't want to solve it. She's like, no, I'm not solving it, but the cats are determined to get her to solve it, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I went into this book number 3, wondering how I'd go, as I gave book 1 5 stars, but I didn't like book 2. This one brought me back to what I love. The cats, Owen and Hercules. I love them both so much, and the way that they insert themselves into the mysteries is always so intriguing. Truly, this is a very cozy read with some really good reveals also, and I gave this book 4 stars. The next book that I read was book number 3 in the Inn at Holiday Bay Cozy Mystery series by Kathy Daly, aka for me, the Boxes in the Boxes series. If you know, you know, and if you don't, come on over to the Discord. I'll explain to you over there. We don't have time to get into it right now. But anyway, that third book is called Message in the Mantle. And yeah, this one has a very big glare problem. So I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to show you the picture. It's the glare is horrible. But the picture is really, really cute. I love how it's like we have a real dog and a real cat and the rest is like a painting. But anyway, Message in the Mantle. Okay, gonna hold it over here so I can tell you what's going on. So the series premise of this one is that we follow Abby Sullivan. If you're new, hello and welcome. I'm Mr. Francy. I'm not good with character names. I'm great with stories, not with character names. We follow Abby Sullivan, who has purchased a mansion in somewhere. Where did she purchase it? Holiday Bay in Maine. I'm glad I wrote it down. In Holiday Bay in Maine, and she plans to convert it into an inn. We also follow a cat that adopted Abby. Yes, you heard that right. It wasn't that Abby adopted the cat. The cat adopted Abby, whose name is Rufus, and Abby's employee, someone she's hired, Georgia, and Georgia's dog, Ramos. In this particular book, Abby is still working hard to get the inn renovated for opening. Colt, who is the detective, is moving into a new place and finds a skeleton inside a chest in the basement, so Abby uses her sleuthing skills to help him work out what happened. Now, to my thoughts, my first thought with this book is the annoyance that the inn still isn't open. Because this is book number 3, even, I'm spoiling this and I'm sorry that I am, but even at the end of book 3, the inn is still not open. My annoyance with this is, why are we calling this the Inn at Holiday Bay Cozy Mystery Series if after 3 books, the inn is still not open? I really wish that the first arc would just have been called something like The Renovations for the Inn at Holiday Bay, you know? And then we have books in that series, and then once the inn opens, then we call it the Inn at Holiday Bay. But anyway, so I love inns as well, so that's part of my annoyance, is that I wasn't reading these books to read about the renovations. I was reading these books because I wanted to get into the B&B. And so the fact that I got to the end of book 3 and the inn was still not open, it was like, come on, where's the inn? Why are we calling this the Inn at Holiday Bay if the inn's not open? But anyway, I did plan for this because I was fortunately spoiled for that earlier on, which I really did appreciate. I was told that it would open somewhere in book number 4, so I planned to read both books 3 and 4, one after the other, in the month of April, which I did. So, still focusing, however, on book number 3. The mystery I did find to be intriguing, although the reveal felt way too forced and short. Owing to all of the above, I docked 2 stars, and I gave this one a disappointing 3 stars. Sorry about that. I tried to pause and it wouldn't pause. So like, pause, come on, pause. So if you saw something weird and you're like, Miss Francy, what are you doing? I was trying to pause and it wouldn't pause. But anyway, I don't really edit these videos. I don't go in and start cutting and pasting and whatever. So you see it all with me. What you see is what you get. Hello and welcome, Sparkle, Sparkle. The next book that I did pick up, therefore, indeed, was book number 4 in the Inn at Holiday Bay Cozy Mystery Series by Kathy Daly, which is called Answers in the Attic. And again, sorry about the glare, but the cover is absolutely gorgeous. I love the blue with the brown and the blue sky. And oh my gosh, love this cover. Anyway, so I've already told you the series premise. All I'm going to tell you in this one, I won't tell you when, but in this one, at some point, the inn does open. That's all I'm going to tell you. So that made me very happy. Now, the premise of this book is, alongside her employee and her best friend Georgia, her cat Rufus, and Georgia's dog Ramos, and a new furry addition in this book, you cannot ever have too many furry additions, woo! Abby sets about dealing with the last thing she needs to get renovated before the opening, the attic. But when a stranger arrives on the doorstep claiming to be a descendant of the former owners of the property, what other answers will be uncovered? So to my thoughts on this one, my thought was a little bit spoilery. So all I'm going to say is my thought was more revolving around, yay, I was really happy that the inn was open. I won't say when the inn opens, but when the inn did open, I was really, really, really happy. Let's leave it at that. I was really happy because, as I say, it took, up to book 4 to open up the inn. comments. Kathy Daly, I want to read more of your works. I really, really do. But can you all please spoil me if I plan to read like Gooseberry Bay or any of the other series that Kathy Daly writes in how long it takes to renovate before we open the business? Because I might just jump ahead to, in this case, book number 4 in her other series and just read from when it's open. But anyway, so I was very, very happy that the inn was open, finally, at long last. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening from here as well as moving forward. I really appreciated the new furry addition to the family and still have a big heart for Georgia, despite the fact that the audio narrator for this series makes Georgia sound like Sadness from Inside Out, the Pixar films. Georgia's a very happy person, but sounds very much like Sadness, like, oh, yes, I think we should do this. And it's like Sadness. And I'm like, but you're not Sadness, you're a happy woman. Like, this makes no sense. But anyway, it's totally fine. Didn't care for the mystery because, again, it was yet another cold case. But anyway, just my luck that I read so many cold case cozies this month. Although this series seems to have the mystery be a background thing more than a foreground one. Yep, so that's a good point that I need to make. In a lot of cozy mysteries, generally speaking, the mystery itself is at the forefront. I'm not saying that we don't have the cozy theme side, because we absolutely do, but we are the amateur sleuth that's trying to solve the case. That is not the case in this series. In this series, we have a detective. That detective tries to solve cases. Then at some point, that detective will come over to Abby and say, Abby, can you help me out with this? I have this case. I want you to look into it. So it's very different to your traditional cozy where we're trying to solve the case. No, it's the detective coming in saying, I've started trying to solve this. I can't. I need your help. And so we're coming in like 3/4 of the way through a case that's already trying to be solved. Does that make sense? Okay. All in all, however, it was a good book, and I cannot wait for book number 5. I would highly recommend going into this series for the culture that is Holiday Bay in Maine. I love the town. I love the people in the town. They are so much fun. The animals are amazing as well. So, yeah, 4 stars all in all. The next book that I picked up may just very well turn me into sadness myself, because it was the 5th and so far final book in the grilled cheese cozy mystery series that I love so much, and I'm so sad. It is called You Better Watch Out, and it's by Linda Riley, and how gorgeous is that cover. I am so glad that the publishers, because I need to shout them out, they are Beyond the Page Publishing, spoke to Linda Riley and got out this book. I thank you Beyond the Page Publishing, because it definitely wasn't finished at the end of book 4. We needed book 5. The thing is, I don't know if there's going to be a book 6. There's been no word either way. There's been no word on there will, there won't. We've heard nothing. So I don't know. I'm either up to date or this is the end. If this is the end, Linda Riley, thank you first and foremost for such an amazing journey. I have enjoyed this from book 1 all the way through. If you love grilled cheeses, or if you're Australian, or if you're from the UK and you know what I mean when I say a toasty, yep. Okay, if you love those sorts of things and you want to explore that in a culinary way, in a cozy mystery, you can't go past this series. It is so cozy, so culinary. The protagonist is such a lovely, upbeat person. The mysteries are always so intriguing. This is a top tier cozy mystery series for me. The one unfortunate thing is book 1, 2, 3, and 4 all received 5 stars. Book 5 received 4. So it's kind of sad that this one got 1 star less, but still, that is still a really high rating. That is what? That is 24 out of 25 stars. Yeah, that is incredible for the entire series. So anyway, in this series, we follow Carly Hale, who runs a grilled cheese eatery in Balsamdale, Vermont, with cute appearances from her dog, whose name, appropriately, we're working in a grilled cheese shop, is Havati. Of course it is. So in this book, Carly and her sister attend the Christmas Carol dress rehearsal at the Opera House when suddenly everything is stopped over some concerns. This is followed by a scream, and it's announced that the guy who plays Marley is now dead. Carly's friend Gina, who was also in the play, is accused of his murder, so Carly dons her sleuthing cap one last time to ensure her friend's safety and prove her innocence. So to my thoughts, as I said, I gave every book in this series 5 stars. I gave this one 4 stars, however. It just lacked in the culinary department for me compared to the other 4 books. I'm not saying there isn't any culinariness, because there is, but normally there is a lot more. So if you read the first 4 books and you love how culinary they are, this one isn't as culinary as the first 4. If you love your culinary cozies, still read the series, because there's a lot of culinary stuff in the first 4 books. There absolutely is. I found it cute that it was set at Christmas time, and very much enjoyed my time with Carly, Ari, and of course Havati. And I just thought the mystery was intriguing, but I didn't like the reveal. In saying that, I really hope we get more from the series, because it truly is one of my all-time faves, and I gave this one 4 stars. And the final book we're talking about in this wrap-up, part 1, is book number 7 that I read in April, which is book number 1 in the A Witch's Cat Cozy Mysteries series by Delia James, and it is called A Familiar Tale. Let me tell y'all something. Other readers have picked up this book based on the fact that I said I wanted to read it, or that I was interested in it, or whatever. I spoke about it in other videos, and they've come back to me and said, I didn't like this book. And that is totally fine. The cheese, Mr. Francy, is more than happy to stand alone. Not only do I love this book, but I even said in the heading of my Goodreads review for this one, what a special, beautiful read. I connected with this book from page 1 all the way through to the end. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. It is not on my SAS list this year, but it absolutely will be at some point. Whether I put it on my SAS list this year or put it on next year, I will definitely get through the entirety of this series. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. So the premise of this book is, that we follow Annabelle Britton, who decides to visit Portsmouth in New Hampshire. But when she stumbles upon a smoky grey cat named Alistair and follows him into a charming cottage, Annabelle finds herself in a whole spellbook full of trouble. Soon the mystery surrounding Alistair's former owner, who died under unusual circumstances, grows when another local turns up dead. Armed with magic, friends, and the charmed cat who adopted her more than the other way around, Annabelle sets out to pore through the evidence and uncover a killer. So to my thoughts, I absolutely loved the book from page 1. Something about it just felt very special to me, even early on. Meeting Annabelle, meeting Alistair, meeting the other witches, because it's, a familiar tale. Witches, cat. There are witches. Yep. Okay. And meeting the other witches, dealing with the unsolved case of Alistair's former owner. All of it was just such a captivating read for me. I plan to read this book in 3 days. I finished it in 2 because it was just that good. I cannot wait to get to book number 2 and read other books by this author. This was very, very special for me. The book opens up with Annabelle Britton saying something like, I am not this, I am not that, this is not me, this is not this, and then all of a sudden it is this, and so that just really got me on board. I'm like, okay, her life is completely turned upside down right now, and everything that happened from there moving forward was just every layer of the onion we peel back got more and more and more intriguing. Delia James, where have you been all my life? This was so special for me. If you are someone that likes your paranormal cozies, I highly recommend this. I think Delia James did an amazing job, and I can't highly recommend this enough. I only had 3 5-star books for this month, and this was one of them. An overwhelming 5 stars from me. Favorite game that we like to call Up. These are the first 7 books that I read in the month of April, with the next 7 on the way, not too far away at all. Thank you in the meantime so much for joining me. I'm letting you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind, love one another, and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. Yeah! And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone!